only concern is clearly the games played. Playing over 100 games only one time in career, at this point, is very concerning to me.
By the way, this backs up what you're saying, other than the big guy, and the big guy's Mike Trout. But this is WAR per 150, meaning, you know, what you're doing when you're on the field, not judging the volume, and he's just not playing.
He's a beast. Clearly a beast, and he's a little lower on my list only because of the games played.
Right.
I mean, if this guy can stay on the field, he would be everybody's favorite player. But the Twins are taking a chance on him, $100 million deal. I look forward to seeing how that all plays out.
I wondered what they were going to pay him, because the hardest thing, I think, for a club is to have someone that you know probably is going to be great, but he just hasn't played for you. So what do you pay that guy? I think, and yet the answer is a lot, because he's probably going to play, and he's probably going to be a great player. We think. We don't know, but we think. All right, Brian Reynolds. I want you to get big on Brian Reynolds. The slash line, you know, switch hitter, the whole package. I know he's kind of in obscurity, Chris, right? In Pittsburgh now, this is a marvelous player.
We're getting to the meat and potatoes now. Brian Reynolds is a guy that kind of came out of nowhere for me as a fan of the game. But a switch-hitting guy who can hit for average from the right side, hit from average on the left side, big-time power. From the left side, he reminds me of a guy I played with, Daniel Murphy, with the Mets. He's a foot down early, drive through the middle of the field, big-time pop, can run, can play great defense. I mean, he's going to be on this list for a long time, and the Pirates better hold on to him.
Yeah, I love the slash line, a guy with batting average, but draws his walks with the on base, with the power, slugging over 500. There used to be a lot of those guys. There's not many of those guys these days. Now, Luis Robert, the question is, where does he fit among the elite? Because he's clearly a great player, but where will he fit?
He's going to fit right there where he is, but, I mean, he's shortened his swing off. I've seen Luis made some adjustments from 2020 to 2021 to where I feel like his power is going to continue to develop. He's going to hit for a higher average. He's going to play a Gold Glove center field, and his ceiling is extremely high as well. He's a fun, exciting player to watch, but just like half the guys on this list, we just got to keep them healthy.
Right.
It's tough to do.
There's a lot of choices in here. Again, there's injuries to deal with, but then you look at who's also a plus fielder and a plus hitter, who's young, who's a little bit older. Robert has a lot of things on his side. When we come back, we'll have some of baseball's brightest minds joining us. The Sabermetric Super Panel is next. Now, we just saw Byron Buxton come off the Shredders list at 3. We'll reveal who on the panel had him even higher than that. It's not much higher than 3, right? Right. Someone got him higher than that.
Simply irresistible. Simply irresistible.
Applebee's Irresistibles are back, now starting at $8.99. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood.
Gillette introduces the all-new Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar, a razor designed to give you a quick and easy shave. It combines shaving and gentle exfoliation into one efficient stroke. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris that gets in the way of the blades, giving you a shave as quick and easy as washing your face, so you can look like you put in an effort, effortlessly. Gillette, the best a man can get.
At JP Morgan, the only definition of wealth that matters is yours. It can be a smaller house, but a bigger nest egg, a goal to work toward, or the freedom to walk away. With 200 years of experience, personalized advice, and commission-free trades on an award-winning app, we're working for you. Planning, investing, advice. JP Morgan Wealth Management.
To cover the course of just because the seasoning and flow's already active. Only 4 years, you classic.
Every home should be a haven. IKEA.
Spring is in the air, and it's all systems go for the Mad Dog.
Once the games begin, all bets are off.
High Heat with Christopher Russo, putting spring training on full blast. Weekdays Weekdays at 12 Eastern on MLB Network.
I love the Boys and Girls Clubs because they help you believe that you can make it to the big leagues.
Big leagues of what? Law. Art? Construction? Baseball?
How'd you guess?
With the help of Major League Baseball, the Boys and Girls Clubs of America help kids make it to the big leagues of anything.
Get more spring training action Monday on MLB Network. At 1 Eastern, the Yankees take on the Tigers, followed by Rangers and Mariners at 4. Then it's Cubs, Reds at 9. Spring training action coming your way on MLB Network. Keep your head in the game with TV's only off-season morning show dedicated to baseball. Join Matt and Harold for the latest news, roster moves, and spring training buzz that impacts this season. Start the day swinging with Hot Stove. Coming up next.
All right, time for MLB Now's Top 10 right now, and we're back to center field. And here's the list so far, according to the Shredder. Adam Duvall coming in at number 10, then Ramon Laureano 9th. Cody Bellinger off a very subpar year, but he's still 8th. Cedric Mullins of the Orioles, 7th. Starling Marte, now of the Mets, at number 6. Luis Robert, Brian Reynolds, and then Byron Buxton of the Twins coming in at number 3. Still some big names to come as we still have the top 2. Right now we bring in our Sabermetrics Super Panel. Always a pleasure to have you along. Vince Gennaro, former president of Sabre. Sarah Langs, Mike Petriello of MLB.com. It's a good list, and I guess we have the big guys still up at the very top. Vince, take us through your top 10.
Yeah, well, first of all, I think it's a very strong position. I mean, there's tremendous depth. But one of the interesting characteristics is of my top 6, only 2 played more than 50% of the games last year. So it's a tale of 2 situations where guys are healthy and guys who are not healthy but have tremendous potential and upside, or they've done it in the past. So at the top of the list, I have Mike Trout, of course. Starling Marte, number 2 for me, who played, a full season and basically put up a 390 on base, can steal bases, has a 12% walk rate. I think he's going to be a real tremendous addition to the Mets in center field. Cedric Mullins, and this is an interesting story where he has gone from a switch hitter to being a left-handed hitter only. Not only has it given him the ability to focus more, but he's actually, as a right-handed hitter, even against left-handed pitching, he wasn't really big league caliber. And I think he'd admit that's one of the reasons he switched. He's actually crushing left-handed pitching from the left-hand side at the plate. And I see big things for him. And that's, by the way, on top of 5.3 WAR this particular, last season. Luis Robert, number 4. Byron Buxton at 5. George Springer at 6. Brian Reynolds, 7. Cody Bellinger, 8. Harrison Bader, 9, and Ramon Laureano, 10 for me.
Kind of a flashback there. I wanted to find room for Laureano. I couldn't quite do it. Was anybody close to not going Mike Trout?
No. Every year we do this together. This is 8 years for me. The very first thing I do is I go to center field and I write in Mike Trout number 1 before I do anything else. This is the last year that happens. And that's because next year he's going to be my number 1 left fielder. And I say that half jokingly. I don't think the defense is there. The health certainly isn't there. The funny thing is, before he got hurt, he was off to his best offensive start, which is saying a lot because he'd had some pretty good offensive years. Hasn't played 150 games since 2016. He's entering his age 30 season. I think we've seen the best of his defense. The bat is still fantastic. He's still my number 1. But we're kind of coming to the end, I think, where it's like slam dunk, no doubt about it.
Right. Look, age 30 season, still slugging 600. Were you close, or was it? I put Trout. Like Springer didn't play enough either. It's not like I could put, well, George Springer is this, and he plays a lot. He didn't. He got hurt at the beginning of the year, and he's out.
The only thing I thought of is if Byron Buxton had not gotten hurt and he had continued to have the season that he was off to, being that absolute 5-tool player, hard hit and sprint speed combo, defense, everything that we have been told for so long that Byron Buxton could be, I would have been maybe close. I still think I would have had Trout for now, but I have Buxton, I think, higher than anybody else based on that promise. And, he could end up hurt again. We don't know. He's had so many injury issues, but we finally saw the peak possibility, and it was just too tantalizing. I could not have it.
Buxton's a monster. Doesn't play enough, right? Like Springer's a proven outstanding player, but he was hurt a good part of last year. Cody Bellinger had a miserable season, so I don't think anybody can knock off the big guy. I thought Brian Reynolds was someone who was like you could make some sort of case. And actually, Mike, you and I have a pretty big on Reynolds, and you guys are not. Where are you on Reynolds?
I have Reynolds number 4. I think he's really good. He's kind of another guy who had like a good breakout season. 2020 not so much, and you're starting to wonder, which season guy is he, right? And then 2021 he comes out, and he's fantastic. 390 on base, 24 home runs, really good defensive outfielder in center field. He's like a 6-win player. You know, I had him over Mullins for really 2 reasons. One is because you look at the underlying metrics, and Reynolds kind of earned everything he got. Mullins, I think, maybe got a little bit more fortunate. And just going to Mullins for a second, enormous home road splits last year, right? So he had 22 home runs at home, 8 on the road. Well, it just came out that the Orioles are going to make that ballpark a lot more pitcher-friendly. So I think that's going to hurt him a little bit. I'm comfortable with Reynolds above Mullins for those reasons.
I brought up Cody Bellinger. Again, this is like Christian Yelich. Like, he's coming off a miserable season, but he was once a fantastic all-round player. What about Bellinger?
You know, I think the reason I still had him and the reason I still have some hope, I know I had him 8th, but I do have optimism, is because I think he's been playing hurt for a long time. I don't think that he allowed enough time for that initial shoulder injury that he suffered in the postseason in 2020 to heal. And there were definitely points last year where it seemed like he was continuing to play despite those different injuries that he was dealing with throughout the year. We know that it's there. I feel like he had maybe a 1-week stretch close to the end of the year where it seemed like it was starting to turn back around. I remember chatting with our Dodgers reporter, Juan Toribio. We were going to write, hey, this is why it's turned around for him. And then he started hitting poorly again. So it is there, and especially with a guy who's so young. And comparing to Yelich, I mean, he is so much younger. So I have even more optimism that he can figure it out, but he's still not back to where he was. And I thought he would be the guy challenging Trout at some point moving forward, if you asked me 2 or 3 years ago.
Right. We both have room for Trent Grisham, by the way. I like that. We had Harrison Bader, but you have... I have both. I have Grisham in mind, but you made Grisham.
I have Bader and Grisham.
Yeah, I have Bader and Grisham, and Bellinger is my number 10. I like Grisham a lot. You know, he was great in 2020, and again, it's a short season. What's he going to be? He was great in the first half of 2021, too. Like, he was backing it up, you know, 30% above average. Second half wasn't that great, but you could say that for pretty much everybody who played for the Padres. You know, he had some heel and foot issues. He's only 25 years old. He's a good defensive center fielder. I have confidence he's going to have another good season.
As far as your bold prediction, your hot take, Mike Trout, I think Mike Trout is going to be number 1 next year, too, at center field. Agree or disagree, or are you with Mike?
I think he probably will, because as much optimism as I am touting about Byron Buxton, I just don't know if he stays healthy.
Vince?
I'm strongly in that camp, that he will be number 1.
That he will be. Okay, there you go. You're on an island. Where you want to be, pal.
Roll it back a year from now. We'll see where we are.
We will do that. Savor the flavor, baby. Thank you, everybody. And before we step aside, let's check out the Shredder's number 1 center fielder for the last 5 years. It's kind of easy. There's a bunch of pictures here that are different, but it's the same guy. It's Mike Trout, year after year. Going back 2017, 18, 19, 20, and 21. Mike Trout, number 1. Will he continue his reign after an injury-filled season? We'll reveal that next.